10 passes. He finished with 166 yards and a touchdown. Kaiser started the second half for the Browns and threw a 52-yard pass to set up a touchdown. He then threw the go-ahead touchdown pass with under 2 minutes left for the win. Shannon, how much should we make of these performances?
I'm not big into preseason. Let's take Trubisky first at Chicago. Mike Glennon started. Mark Sanchez came in, and then here comes Trubisky.
That's a parade. Yep.
My mailman is going to look good behind those two guys. I mean, think about it, Skip. Mike Glennon and Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez, all you got to say, type in butt fumble in Google and see what come up. So that's what Trubisky was up against. Mm-hmm. So I can look good following those guys up. Deshaun Kaiser, Cleveland situation. Brock Osweiler and Coley Kessler. They make it seem like he's following Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Mm. I don't want to put a whole lot of stock, Skip, into the preseason, especially the first game, because a lot of these guys that they're playing against are not going to be on the final 53-man roster. And we can't play our starters all game. A lot of starters didn't even play.
Especially in the first game. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Tom Brady didn't play, Devon Miller, the Gronks. A lot of guys, Julio Jones, they didn't play. Now, as the preseason goes along, you'll see them probably play a quarter in the second game. You'll see them play at the bare minimum to the half, maybe a series or all the way through the third quarter because they're not going to play in the fourth game, and then you got to get ready for the season. Skip, coaches know within 5 to 6 guys who their final 53 is going to be. And you're looking at it, okay, are we going to keep that swing tackle guard, or are we going to keep this extra DB? Are we going to keep this extra receiver, or are we going to keep this extra linebacker? That's what they're trying to figure out, Skip. They know who pretty much their roster is going to look, what their roster is going to look like. But when you move up what Chicago did to take this young man, he better work. Because if he don't work, everybody is gone.
Yep.
I believe Hugh Jackson will have some time because he got a situation that was in total disarray. And the owner, Jimmy Haslam, has done a terrible job because he's been firing general managers and coaches after a year. And when you have that kind of disarray and uncertainty in your front office, your team will reflect that and the product will reflect that on the field. I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in this, Skip. It was the first preseason game. Everybody's just going out there, running basic plays, playing basic coverages. As we move along, you'll start getting an opportunity to see just how good or what we think these guys can be moving forward.
Okay, so in the context you just presented, I will say this about a young man I have been critical of. You've been critical of Trubisky also.
Right.
He impressed me far more last night, albeit in that context, than he did at any point in the North Carolina games I watched last year. And I told you, I didn't keep exact score of this, but I probably watched 4 or 5 North Carolina games, probably in bits and pieces, but through the year. Saw a good bit of them. Not once did he ever jump off my screen to the point where I'd say, wow, that's a high pick.
Right.
And then when he goes second in the draft, I fell out of my chair. Mitchell Trubisky? Or is he now Mitch? Is that what he wants to be?
He wants me to go by Mitchell.
Mitchell, okay. I think his mom wants Mitchell, right? Okay, so Mitchell Trubisky went number 2 overall? Really? You're kidding. That guy I kept watching, only one of the Tar Heels jumped off my screen watching Tar Heel football. Ryan Switzer, who got drafted by my Cowboys.
Oh, man, stop.
Well, he did. And by the way, Dez yesterday predicted that Ryan Switzer will take 6 or 7 punts to the house this year for the Cowboys. Probably a little bold prediction. Probably a little much to put on that kid, but still.
Dez been in my solo cup collection. If you think that kid gonna run back 6 bucks this year.
He has not. But he said it. And again, that's the kid, if you watch Carolina last year, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Every time he went back and caught a punt, he had a little hard time once you start running with the ball, hanging on to the ball because he tries to do too much, tries to hit a home run every time. But the point is, he caught my eye, but not Mitchell Trubisky. But last night, they threw the kid into the fire, I thought at the perfect time, in the 2-minute drill at the end of the half, following Glenn and Mark Sanchez. But 2-minute drill, so you know how that goes. It's helter-skelter. You don't have time to think. You just react. You just execute. You just go. And they called, this shocked me because I didn't see this at Carolina, but they called a bunch of rollouts for him left and right. They were doing naked boots the wrong way. You know, you go strong side, weak side, because he can throw it across his body or run with his body.
And plus, they do that, Skip. You only have to read half the field. You don't have to worry
Nope.
about the backside. You
Good
got
point.
the down flat, you got the angle, and you got the
point.
comeback.
And they left Victor Cruz in with him, who's trying to hang on with the Bears after the Giants rejected him. But it was good because it gave him a veteran receiver, and that Deontay Thompson has been around the league now for 6 years. And they left him in, and he did well. He looked good, and he played for the Bears last year and caught a few balls. So the point was, I was impressed. I really was. His body language looked different. He just looked better than he did at any point last year. So I'm going to give him high marks on my eye test because I wasn't ready to see that from him this quickly. But again, maybe 9/10 of the players on the field are not going to be on the roster by that point.
For me, Skip, when I'm evaluating players this early in the preseason, I'm looking at, do they play with poise? How much confidence do they have? Because this is the first time you're getting an opportunity to see them. You want to make sure the kid that you think, if we have to play this kid in a game for a game or 2 games, he can handle it. He's not going to be overwhelmed. So especially for the quarterback, I'm not looking at his stats. I'm looking to see, okay, 1's taken away, 2's taken away. Does he check the ball down? Or does he go, if the throw is there, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the ball's out of his hand.
He did. He checked down some last night.
So I'm not looking at stats. I'm looking at poise. I'm looking at composure. Can this guy get done what we need to get done if we need him at some point in time? Now, Mitchell Trubisky is under a different set of circumstances. They moved up to take him. He's the number 2 pick in he better be able to take them where they want to go. Because look who's in that division. What you got to do for the next 5 years, Trubisky, you got to beat one Aaron Rodgers. That's what you got to do. That's your competition. And Matthew Stafford. Sam Bradford.
Good.
Now, Sam Bradford, that folding chair, he folds like a folding chair at the end of the night. I ain't worried about him.
But Dalvin Cook looked good for them. That's going to give them
yes. And they got a great defense.
They got a defense, man. So we had Ryan Leaf sit here 2 days ago and say that he belonged in the preseason Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
But he was a pretty quick bust with the San Diego Chargers.
Correct.
So he was warning everybody, hey, I just lit it up in the preseason.
Slow down.
Right? But I told you last year on Dak Prescott, I didn't really care about the stats. I did care about the body language, the poise, the maturity, just looking like you belonged. Boy, Dak looked like he belonged last year. But I got to see Dak in the 3rd preseason game because Tony Romo got hurt third play in.
Right.
So now you're at Seattle against a defense that is coming after you in the dress rehearsal preseason game. I'm going to take that to the bank, and I did on Dak Prescott.
And did you forget what he had protected him to that bank? He had a lot of guards. He had 3 of the best guards that's ever guarded money playing today in front of him. So let's not, these other guys don't have that.
Okay, but there's just something about how you carry yourself.
Yeah, no, he carried himself.
You just look and you say, wow,
well,
that's impressive.
Have you mentioned that Tyron Thomas, there's possibly a herniated, Tyron Smith? A possible herniated disc.
Not mentioned that.
He might be down some time, and you might be down Zeke.
He's been having problems with that back dating back 3 years ago. So
see, Skip, what happens there? When you're a young man, you can handle certain types of it. Yeah. I mean, when you're young, you can get over some things. But as you get old, look at our moderator.
Yeah, she's old.
When she was 21, 22, she'd been turning backflips and cartwheels with one hand.
She's way over the hill.
Now she coming here like this.
Yeah.
I don't know, Skip. I think
I had to turn the whole.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey,
and that's at 25.
You saw Atomic Blonde, right?
Yeah.
Well, after you kick some tail like that, you're a little sore.
Back's a little sore.
Well, she better use that stunt double. She instead of doing her own scenes,
I gotta
she
do
need
my
to use the
own
double.
stunts. That's what it is. Why are you gonna make fun of me? I'm trying. I can bring some icy hot up here.
You better stop putting your leg up there. You gonna pull something and look at old man
I'm looking
Shad.
out for you.
Old man Shad just spin it around. Look at my dick.
Has Tim Tebow already been a